plump, juicy blueberries in a buttery French pastry shell. Today we're making a perfectly perfect blueberry tart. Hi, Kevin here. Well, blueberries are in season, so today I'm going to fix a gorgeous blueberry tart, and I'm going to make the all butter pastry crust right in my cheap little food processor. All right, to make the crust, what you need is 1.5 cups or 210 grams of regular all-purpose flour. Then add a 1/2 cup of confectioner's sugar. Now that's, 64 grams confectioner's sugar. And you do not have to sift the sugar first. Then add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. Put the lid on. And just pulse the machine a few times to blend the ingredients. We're good. And now add 1 stick, that's a 1/2 cup or 113 grams of cold diced butter. And I am using salted butter here because it's what I had in my refrigerator, but you can certainly use unsalted butter. Then going to pulse again just to cut the butter into the flour. Now, going to add 1 large beaten egg. I'm going to add that right through the feed tube while the machine is running. Notice how the food processor made a loud roar at the beginning and then a softer roar. You want to stop the machine as soon as the roar quiets down. That way you won't overmix the dough. Okay, now I'm going to transfer the dough to my pastry cloth here. You can put the dough on whatever your work surface is. And then just knead the dough a little to work in any of the stray bits of flour. And by the way, the egg I added to the mix is going to give this dough a cookie-like texture after it's baked. Okay, and then just form the dough into a ball and then pat it into a disc, and then cover it, or rather wrap it in cling film. And then pop this into the refrigerator for 30 minutes or an hour, just to let the butter firm up again. You can even freeze this dough for 3 months or, who knows, 3 years. Okay, I'll come back as soon as the dough has chilled. All right, my dough has chilled, and I did let it soften for, maybe 5 minutes because it got a little too hard in the refrigerator. And what you want to do is first take a rolling pin and give the dough a few good whacks, just to make it more malleable. You could do this when you're angry. Then I always shore up the sides. I'm using a French rolling pin. French in that it has tapered ends. This is perfect for rolling out circles of dough. Certainly better than one of those rolling pins with the handles at each end. I really don't like those rolling pins. So we're looking for a 12-inch diameter circle. And this dough rolls out very easily. Now, when you're rolling out dough, always start in the center and then roll about an inch from the edge. In other words, don't roll over the dough. This will give you a more level surface. All right, my dough is rolled out to 12 inches in diameter. So now, since this is a tart and not a pie, we have to bake the crust in a removable bottom tart pan. Now, if you don't have one of these pans, get one. They only cost about $10, and you can find them in any kitchen supply store, and of course, you can find them on Amazon. This tart pan was made in France, and I think it costs like $9.95. So now, fold the dough into a triangle and then unfold it in the pan. And do not stretch the dough, just drape it. If you stretch the dough, it will shrink in the oven. And then you won't have such a beautiful looking tart. And if the dough should tear anywhere, like I have a little tear right, let me turn the pan. I have a little tear right here. I'll show you how to fix that. Take the rolling pin, press it against the rim of the pan, and then pull off the excess. Push the sides of the dough against the wall of the pan. And then you can patch, here I'll do it this way so you can see. See, I have this little area right here. Take a bit of dough, just put it right there to fill in. And there we have it. And then we have to pierce the dough, only the bottom. So just take a fork, use the tines of the fork to make little holes all over the bottom of the tart. The holes will allow steam to escape when the dough is in the oven so that it doesn't puff up. Now, what I'm going to do is put a sheet of aluminum foil over the tart. You could use parchment paper here. I just think foil is easier to work with. And press it into the contours of the pan. And then fill the pan with either pie weights or dried beans. I'm using 2 pounds of dried beans. And then, since my dough got a little warm, I'm going to pop this into the freezer for about, 20 minutes. You could put it in your refrigerator for 30 minutes or an hour. Then we're going to bake this. All right, my tart has chilled, so I've put it on my ugliest baking sheet. Now I'm going to pop this into the preheated 425 degree Fahrenheit oven for 15 to 20 minutes. I just want the crust to set. Then I'm going to remove the foil and the beans and return the tart to the oven and let it bake for another 15 or 20 minutes, or just until the crust starts to color and it feels dry to the touch. All right, here's the tart after 15 minutes in the oven. So now remove the beans, and remember these are very hot. There we are. And then return the pastry dough back to the oven, again, until the tart shell colors a little and it feels dry to the touch, 15 to 20 minutes. All right, here's the baked tart shell. As you can see, it has colored lightly, especially around the edge, and it definitely feels dry to the touch. It's quite hot, So you want to let this cool to room temperature. And while it's cooling, we're going to prepare the blueberry filling. All right, for the blueberry filling, you'll need 6.5 cups. That's about 2.5 pounds of fresh blueberries. Now, I have already rinsed these blueberries really well, and of course you want to go over them and make sure there are no little stems attached. And remove 1.5 cups of the blueberries and reserve them. This is going to be the top layer of the tart. Okay, now to make the filling, what you do is put a 1/4 cup of water into a saucepan, just a medium-sized saucepan, and then add 3 cups of the blueberries. So we're not adding all of them just yet. Bring this to a boil over high heat and then reduce the heat to a simmer and stir the mixture occasionally just until the blueberries start to break up. That's going to take about 5 minutes. All right, my blueberries have started to burst and I have reduced the heat to a simmer. So now I'm going to stir in a 1/4 cup of sugar. That's 50 grams of sugar. If you want a sweeter dessert, you could add a 1/2 cup of sugar. But my blueberries are already pretty sweet. Okay, then I want to add the zest of 1 lemon. In you go. And the juice of the lemon. I love this little lemon squeezing gadget. This gadget was invented in Mexico, I believe. There we go. Give this a stir. Now to thicken this mixture, I'm going to add 2 tablespoons of cornstarch blended with 2 tablespoons of water. This is going to thicken up very quickly. Look at that. It's already become quite thick. Oh, this is wonderful. And of course, it smells wonderful. So now, turn off the heat and add a pinch of salt. This is about a 1/4 teaspoon or so. And add the remaining 2 cups of blueberries. And I see a stem right here, which I'm going to remove. Oop, there you go. Stir that in. Yeah, by adding the blueberries this way, cooking some of them, only partially cooking others, the tart will have a lovely interior texture. Okay, ready to add this to the tart shell. Now, I forgot to tell you that this is a 9-inch diameter removable bottom tart pan. Okay, so here's the fun part. Add the hot blueberry mixture to the room temperature tart shell. Oh, look at this. So beautiful. Get all of the thickened juices in here. I'm going to lick that spatula later. But first, I'm going to smooth out the top. Oh, I wish you were here to enjoy this tart with me. Okay, then take the reserved 1.5 cups of blueberries. So I'm going to do it this way. And just scatter them over the top. You want to scatter them as evenly as possible, which might not be very evenly at all. Yeah, this tart has 3 different textures. It's got the cooked blueberries, the partially cooked blueberries, and then the raw, fresh blueberries. And you push the fresh blueberries into the cooked berries. so they stick. And there we have it. It's time to unmold the tart. So what you do is put the tart pan on a water glass and bing, that's it. And then I'm going to put the tart on a platter or cake stand in this case. A blue cake stand, just continuing with this blue theme. And for a finishing touch, I have a little sprig of mint here. I'm going to put this in the center. Now, you should chill this tart in the refrigerator for a couple of hours or even overnight before serving it. That way the blueberries will set up. But I couldn't wait. I cut the tart while it was still warm because I want to have a taste. Because I'm hungry. Bon appetit. You guys, this is the kind of dessert that makes your eyes roll to the back of your head. The blueberries just burst in your mouth. And of course, the crust is tender, but it's also firm. It's a little cookie-like. And of course, the crust is buttery because we added a whole stick of butter to the dough. So I hope you will give this blueberry tart a try someday. And I will put the recipe over on my website, and I will put a link to the website in the description below. And I hope you will like and subscribe and tap the little bell icon to receive notifications every time I upload a new recipe. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. I'm going to finish this. Bye for now.